Will the Menendez brothers get out? I need some help with this one. Need to go out to the left coast. Joining me, Deputy Public Defender, L.A. County, Philip Dubé, and criminal defense attorney, former L.A. County prosecutor, host of Courtroom Confidential podcast, Josh Ritter. Okay, gentlemen, Philip Dubé. He's got a reputation, this DA. It's a very public press conference. To me, the writing's on the wall. These guys are getting out.
If I were to prognosticate, I would say yes, they are getting out. One of the best things that both of these men could hope for is that their opponent is not contesting the petition. It's so much easier for a judge not to so much surrender the gavel, but to rule in the petitioner's favor when the issues are uncontested. Typically, Vinny, when we go into court on a habeas matter, the issues are contested. What I think the prosecution should do to make their position even more forceful for the court is to bring their own request to resentence them under California law based on the fact that it would be in the interest of justice and that the original sentence was excessive. And if they can show abuse in their background and that they had an absolutely impeccable prison record, that is grounds to grant the relief. And the court can just resentence them, actually vacate the conviction, find a lesser included or even a lesser related charge, and give them time served and be done with it.
Let me ask you, Josh, what are your thoughts? I think it's going to happen. I'm not saying I necessarily agree that it should happen, but I think it's going to happen. Are you thinking the same thing here, or you have a different take here?
Well, the answer is certainly not 100% no. The DA in his press conference there made that clear. I mean, he was very specific about not being specific about what their feelings were about the case so far. I will say it's interesting that he's making this press conference because they've had this habeas since last year. So they've had a considerable amount of time already to take a look at this evidence if they felt that it was persuasive. But the evidence, if they do feel it's persuasive and they do feel that it was corroborative of the boys' positions that they were being molested at the hands of their father, then yeah, I mean, this DA holds a lot of power and the ability to, as Philip was pointing out, possibly resentence them to manslaughter, which was what they were arguing for in the first trial in the first case. And if that happens, then they get out. They've got time served, exactly.
And let me ask you just a quick follow-up, Josh, because you said they've had this for quite some time, but that preceded the Netflix series and the social media explosion that's happening now. Let me ask you a follow-up, and I'll have both of you have a chance for this, so about 15 seconds, 20 seconds or so. Should that impact this, the social media explosion and Netflix making this all of a sudden a cause?
I don't know if it should affect it. I mean, I would hope that the district attorney would be making their decisions based upon the evidence and the law. But I will say that culturally, we have changed a lot since 30 years ago. And our view of abuse, and especially our view of abuse, sexual abuse against men. And so maybe if we're deciding that we're going to take a different look at this than we might have 30 years ago, that might be the lens in which they're looking at it now.
Philip Dubé, 10 seconds.
Absolutely, because the film highlighted much of the injustice during the retrial. The court shifted gears, went in reverse, and absolutely reversed itself on the imperfect self-defense and shut it down when there was no change in the evidence. People don't like that.
All right, we've got a lot more to get to. I'm Vinny Politan. We'll keep digging for answers as the investigation continues.